time, the production at home is beginning to match our consumption. At a point when there is equilibrium somewhere, then the system will be looking at whether there's a need to continue with the importation of.
But considering, if you look at rice, the big ones, you mentioned them, the big ones. Sure. Considering that as we speak, 2020, I mean the last data that's available.
Sure. $220-something million.
Exactly coming in. But in terms of the metric tons that we were consuming, some 1.4 million metric tons of that as of 2020. Yes. If you look at what we're producing locally, it's 622,000.
Yes.
There's a huge gap there. Yeah. That needs to be bridged.
Yes.
I put it to you that the restrictions won't solve this particular problem. Even if you restrict and say we still produce 2022, until you have government policies that empowers local producers to grow the production over time, you are going to have a challenge.
I understand that. No, there won't be a challenge. I understand that. Again, if your argument is still revolving on the fact that you suspect that we are banning, then we'll get into this conundrum.
But you're restricting.
But if you see, that's what I'm saying here.
So in other words, in a more realistic question will be, on day one of this, you would have to restrict the importation of rice, for example.
Day one of this,
and allow 622,000 metric tons to be produced locally.
No.
And so you can't import anything more than that difference.
Well, that's what if that is the difference.
That's what you're proposing.
But I was going to put it the other way around. Maybe we would have arrived at the same destination. But I was going to say that maybe, as you say, day one, which is from today or from the maturity of the LI, we won't be restricting anything at all. If it's to
the law says within 3 months, people can apply to you.
No, they apply. Of course, yes. The physical application would be undertaken, but whether by so doing we stop bringing in anything altogether is another matter. Yes, they would apply for the purpose of getting a 20 million metric tons, 40 million metric tons. I would have looked at the figures. The committee would have looked at the figures. They would have presented me with the data, and looking at it, I would have thought that, well, how much is needed? 100 and whatever tons, yes, it can be imported. Nothing would have been lost.
Yeah, but that is rice where the data is available.
We're keeping a good eye on the data. Let me tell you about this. We have been particularly concerned about rice because it's all basically the staple of the country. So we got companies like the guys that you met here just before you came in, Olam. They had come to explain to me the installed capacity. Consistently over the last so many months, we've been talking to Zoomlion, you know them, just one group of companies. In fact, they had promised us that if we had been able to put through the mechanism into operation, by this December, they will be producing so much to augment whatever it's already produced in the country. So imports could be to be restricted. But of course, we had to do a roadshow for purpose of consultation to get all those stakeholders involved for us to measure the barometer of the country before we undertake this process.
So I was talking about the other items on the list.
Yes.
You have stuff like fish.
Well, start from the top.
We've talked about rice. We've talked about rice already.
A few more there.
You have poultry, for example.
Yes.
And if you speak to the Poultry Farmers Association, they say we don't even produce up to 1% of what the demand locally.
That's not my information. They don't tell me that they don't produce 1%. It is true. The local production far
according to the recommendation. Let me quote the exact figures. So 400,000 metric tons is the demand locally.
That's right.
We're currently producing locally 57,000. To be very specific, 57,870. Metric tons of poultry.
Yes.
That's a huge gap. You're talking about a significant gap. In fact, what we import still leaves a gap. We're not importing all that we need for the local market already.
Well, we're not importing all. We're assuming that we produce something.
So my point is, how does your policy address this huge gap without creating a shortage that shoots price up and creates inflation?
Well, the risk of repeating myself, let me take you back. And that's what consistently I'm saying, that we are not banning. So in the particular instance of poultry, we may simply have to regulate, observe, evaluate what's going on, and then decide on how we go forward. It's the case that if we're importing, say, 1,000 metric ton, million, whatever, of poultry, we probably would keep on producing to the extent that we are not bridging the gap But if the system that we put in place, the help that we intend to give to poultry farmers and all the mechanisms that we put in place, if it is able to catch up, we hope that going forward, we'll be able to bridge the gap and that the import into the country will be reduced. Looking at it, if having put all the factors together, there's still the risk that putting restricting in the terms of not allowing anybody to bring poultry into the country would affect the country. We won't. We're going to rationalize. You know, it's not. Insanity is not going to break loose because we're trying to restrict. We would monitor as much as we can and make sure that we balance the system. We want to encourage local farmers. We want to encourage local poultry. But at the same time, I've also told you, also keeping our eyes on our foreign reserves. But that can never be at the expense of the ability of people to feed themselves in the country.
The architecture of the bill, as I've read, creates room for corruption, for rent-seeking behavior, does it not? This committee that answers only to you. In fact, you can decide, even when they recommend to you, whether to grant a permit or not. That creates room for corruption. You disagree?
I am tempted to use so many phrases when it comes to some of this, but I'll contain myself. It's just annoying, you know. It's just annoying when it's suggested that. And I don't think you belong to the camp of some of the other colleagues who see nothing good in this and suspect that it's yet towards lining the pockets of people who obviously are not accountable. It's silly. Let them take the necessary few minutes and read through the documentation. The committee consists of ABC. I think about my last count was about 13 or so. Now, 13, you have the deputy minister of my ministry here, who will be the chairperson, and then there will be somebody representative from our Greek ministry.
Let me go to them for the sake of those who are watching. Yeah, by the way, you're also live now on Joy 99.7 FM. This would have been top story time, but we are speaking to the Trade and Industry Minister, K.T. Hammond, on the back of the controversy that has erupted on his proposals to bring in a legislative instrument that will restrict selected strategic products in terms of its imports. And we're having a conversation with him also on Joy, on the Joy News channel. Later tonight, you can catch the full interview on PM Express from 9 p.m. But to the point, though, you have the Ministry of Trade and Industry represented, and the individual there must not be anybody below the rank of a deputy minister. So I guess your deputy minister will represent you, and he will chair. Yes. You have the Ministry of Food and Agriculture also there, somebody not below the rank of a director. Yes. We have the Ministry of Finance. You have the Ministry of Employment, Labour Relations, Ministry of Interior. You have the Bank of Ghana, Customs Division of the GRA represented, the Food and Drugs Authority, the Ghana International Trade Commission is represented, and then the AGI and the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Your point about this
is a very powerful committee. Now, where it leaves room for corruption, I'm not so clear. Now, after this committee has decided on whether there is a need to import some more products or to retain whatever it is as it is, anyone who is unhappy with the outcome of the committee's deliberation has the right to appeal to the minister. I'm not so sure, before appeals to the minister, at this stage, the minister, then the committee recommends to the minister. They recommend it. It isn't the minister who at his whim and caprice decide on what to do. There is a recommendation by the committee.
But you decide whether to take the recommendation or not.
We'll go to the next bit. The minister then decides. You are right. I would have thought that if this powerful committee is decided that a permit or a license should be granted, a minister will see no reason to differ from those.
But that power is given to you.
I have no doubt at all. Let's go to the check on the minister. Now, when the minister decides not to grant, that is the fear of my colleagues articulated the other day on the floor of Parliament. The minister, K.T. Hammond, will decide because there are NDCs involved. They were very clear. NDC involved looking at their faces and whatever. That is how much they fell below standards to describe this matter. Would decide that they're not going to grant it. The minister wasn't going to grant it. All right. What they haven't read is that When the minister refuses to grant your license, cancel your license, all the negatives that they outlined, you have the right then to appeal back to the minister to review his
That's judge and jury.
It's all over the place.
Section 18 says appeal to you. The same person who have rejected it maybe a few months back.
Let's get there. You show me what the Section 18 is. So the minister is asked to review his decision. Is there in the court, Supreme Court, when they make a decision, the Supreme Court has jurisdiction within which they are asked to review their own decision.
But they add a few more judges to it.
But let me go.
But in your case, it comes to you, the same person who rejected that permit.
Let me deal with it. So when I refuse, following a review, you then have a recourse to the law court. Is there black and white? So the minister, be it Katie Hammond, be it whoever, has not absolute control, unbridled control on the outcome of this. Go to that particular section.
But within the act, though,
yes,
you are the final authority here.
No, I am not.
You are the appellate body.
Where is the appellate?
You are the only person.
Go to the appellate. Tell me where.
Let's go to Section 18.
What does it?
Let me go to Section 18, which I quoted earlier.
What does it say?
Section 18 says,
yes,
1, a person who is aggrieved,
yes,
by the refusal of the minister, not only to grant the permit, but also after the renewal has been turned down, may within 14 days after the receipt of the notification of the decision of the minister apply to the minister in writing for a review of the decision of the minister. The minister shall, within 14 days after receipt of an application for a review of the decision of the minister, A, take a decision on the application, and B, communicate the decision in writing to the aggrieved person. It ends there.
It doesn't end there.
Well, tell me if there's been an amendment to this.
It doesn't end there. Is that what you have?
That's what I have.
Well, you see, that's why you should be careful when you
when was this reviewed?
When you get in this, you don't get in this. 3. Have you seen that 3?
Talk to me about 3, because I don't have it in the version I have.
Well, you probably can read better. Look at the 3. So give me your document then. I'll give you this one.
This is my document.
You got your document. You see, journalists, you should be very careful. Where do you hijack this from?
But this is from Parliament.
I don't know whether
this is from Parliament. This is the same parliamentary document.
Well, I don't know about that.
3 says, a person dissatisfied with the decision of the minister under sub-regulation 2 may seek redress in court. My question to you really is, this is before Parliament, and they got them from Parliament.
Be careful, there's nothing before Parliament.
No, of course, I know, because, but then the pre-lane conversations have happened. So your colleagues have it, and that's where I got this one. When was this clause added?
I'm not sure. It was always there. It was always there. I'm not sure why. I tell you what, I don't know where you got this from.
But it's a fair question. When was this?
No, it's always been there. It was always, look at the other one. Two, I just told you about the one that they thought they were interested and later on shifted their interest, the cement one.
We'll come to the cement one.
It's clearly there, so I don't know where
my substantive question remains.
It's always been there.
My substantive question remains. Yes. You're actually saying that, again, within the confines of the act, you are the final authority. Of course, the courts then have to now decide whether you're right or not.
Administratively, somebody would have to be the authority to make a decision. In this case, it's double-layered. The committee and then to the minister. You're not happy with the minister's decision, go to court.
But why do you want to create that avenue for the minister to have that level of discretion, which obviously from our history leaves room for you to be manipulated?
That's a support that remember that beyond you, there'll be ministers beyond you who have to enforce this. Why are you looking at Katie Hammond? Okay, let's talk about the minister. But why
this is institutional.
No, absolutely. But why do you think that this is an embodiment of corruption?
You may be a saint.
No.
You may be a saint, but somebody may occupy your seat tomorrow.
Don't claim to be a saint.
No, somebody may occupy your seat tomorrow.
And that person cannot lay claim to infallibility. But nobody is going to access this and be able to thereby corrupt themselves. I mean, what do you make of the reference to the court? I mean, I don't understand.
But in this country, it goes without saying that the ultimate decision makers, Mr. Ketia, you know you're a lawyer, so you know, even if Parliament decides, the ultimate deciders are always a court. So actually this clause is just stating the obvious.
That what?
That so the fact that you stated is here.
If you're conscious of the fact that the addition adds nothing to it, then why were you hammering on the fact that, well, it isn't on your document and that creates avenue for corruption?
Now that I've seen the updated document, I'm asking a fundamental question.
It was always there, yeah. So, but notwithstanding this, that what? Oh, yes.
My question to you is,
yes,
including this fact here,
well, let's
stating the obvious.
Yeah. So
even if you didn't include it,
so we can ignore that one. You can ignore that someone could have gone to court. Judicial review. I'm conscious by that. Yes. So what is the point? That doesn't add anything.
My point is to have this checks and balances built into this. So why don't you have an appellate body other than yourself?
To do what?
To adjudicate over your decision.
What does it say? So what the judicial?
It makes it more transparent.
You're conflating the issue. I don't think you are getting it right. What does the appellate body do? What does it do? The appellate body. What does it do?
It will decide whether or not they can review your own decision.
And then they're going to court. What does it do?
Well, of course, I'm saying that whether you include this or not, even at that appellate body case, when you're not part of it, that person still has a cause to court.
So I don't get
it. It makes the process more transparent. When at the level of the committee,
which committee?
What has been suggested? Let Parliament be the appellate body.
I told you about that. Don't pretend that you knew that when I told you about that.
The MP said that last week.
No, the MPs, I didn't quite understand what it was. Didn't make sense to me. My leader, Oseche Bonsu, said to me, was it possible to rope in Parliament at this stage? How do you do that? This is the administrative structure. Get Parliament to do what? This is an airline. I don't quite understand how this should be done. Fortunately, back to the Attorney General, and he says he doesn't understand that.
The Attorney General has given his opinion on this already.
Attorney General, that's why we've got to be very careful. People shouldn't assume that you're a minister, you sit in your office, sit around your desk, and you have the right to do whatever you want to do. Listen, has been to Attorney General's office more than many times.
What's his view on this?
Attorney General is signed his imprimatur on it before.
So he's okayed it before you.
He's okay on it. And then when we went to Parliament the other day, and the suggestion was that we should still make some additions. We still went back to the Attorney General, and the particular one that you're talking about, the constitutional, whatever I told you about, Attorney General didn't understand. He has no comprehension. It didn't quite make sense.
As in coming back to Parliament.
For what? But Evans, let's get this matter very clear. You seem to be so agitated about the matter of an appeal. An appeal process is the equivalent of a review, except that they are different processes. But when a decision is made by a decision maker, an administrative decision maker, whether it was put there or... Indeed, let me share this with you. Maybe you are right. My view was that it did not make any sense adding that particular to 8. Of course, that particular...
The 3.
Yeah, the 3. It didn't make any sense.
So you agree with me then?
On that point, I do. But I was told that for the comfort of those who will be reading and who are not all lawyers, because...
I'm not a lawyer. I saw through it.
I made fun about it. But lawyers, you want money. So living like that. Your clients, they will come to you. If the decision they don't like, they'll come to you. But it was thought that so that there is no doubt about anything, put it there. You're talking about an appeal. That is appeal to the legal process out of the jurisdiction of this room, out of the bosom of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. The judicial process takes over. If it is appeal, what kind of appeal? Appeal to the court or appeal by a reference set of a panel? I don't understand.
So, Ms. Alma, my only question to you is, I want to stop using the word appeal and use the word that your own regulation uses, which is review.
That's right.
I'm saying within the confines of this ministry, because you are a champion in this, you're saying that it will be more transparent when you institute, when somebody wants to review your initial decision, to go to another body other than yourself.
What is the judicial review my body?
Because the principle in court, when you want to review, is that's why they have the appeals court. Even at the Supreme Court level, they add 2 or 3 more judges to the panel. Just so to create a sense that the same individuals and the same people who adjudicate over the review.
You're losing balance on this matter.
I'm just asking. In this case, though, you say for the first time, I won't accept your permit. I reject it.
Okay.
Then that same person, if they want to review, must come back.
Well, you know what they do? I may have missed out something fundamental. That's why we have the principles of judicial review. I'm not going to lecture you on judicial review
Please
principles. No, I wouldn't. But that is why you go back to the person who took the decision, draw the attention to the irrationality of the decision that they have made, the illegality of the decision they have made, the unfairness in terms of the procedural impropriety of the decision that they have made, which they may not have been conscious of. So you draw the attention to these matters, they sit down for the purpose of review. If they are not happy with it, it used to be, and I tell you, in the civil courts, it used to be Order 42 of the Civil Procedure Act of the High Court, CI 47. Order 42, review by the judge who took the decision had the power to review their own decision. It's now been taken away from.
But he's a judge, you are a politician.
But that is the matter.
There's a fundamental difference.
But so,
you are a politician.
How can I accept that completely? That is why I've made my decision amenable to the court. The highest decision-making process, body, not politically, but the judiciary, is the High Court. And when we say that you can seek review, administrative decision, straight to the High Court. How bad could it be? You put in any appellate processes and whatever, there is still what you call a tribunal or whatever, it's still an inferior body. I've given you the authority, the power to go to the highest judicial body, the process of judicial decision making in the country, the High Court. What is the complaint? They will strike down my decision. If in the end it is thought that my decision is tainted with illegality, irrationality, procedural unfairness, they will strike my decision down. Evans, I don't know. I don't plead guilty to this particular argument.
I want to take you back to the floor of Parliament.
Yes.
Your leader in the House, James Abongsu, was on his feet in open Parliament and said, well, Mr. Hammond should make amendments based on the meetings you had and return on Monday with some of the...
Which would have been today.
Which would have been today. And then I got also on my show speaking to Carlos Ahinkra, who gave me a bit more specifics, that you met with a minority and agreed that you're going to, this particular contentious clause,
which one?
You're going to include this parliamentary appellate body.
Well, that
you actually agreed to do so. True?
Well,
I just want to check.
No, listen, I've already explained. My view was that it didn't make much sense.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, number one, let's get it right. It wasn't the view of the committee. I've told you, Article 11, Clause 7 of the Constitution does not give anybody the right to preview my document. I mean, when I say
you just lay and you count the days.
It's as simple as that. You see, look at Article 106 of the Constitution. Procedure for enacting law, absolutely different. The framers of the Constitution, in their wisdom, did two things. One, legislative instrument. This is how it's going to be done. Proper legislation, bills, which would then lead into substantive acts. You have to go through this processes, lay before the committee, the amendments on this. But on a particular matter of LI, orders and those regulations, very straightforward. Order Clause 7 of Article 11 says you, the promoter of it, invariably the minister, lay it in Parliament. When it's presented, gazette it. When it's gazetted, 21 days, maturity into law. If Parliament doesn't want it, the subsidiary committee of Parliament doesn't want it, after 21, well, not after 21, before the 21 days, they come back and then tell Parliament that we don't like it, and then by a majority of 2/3 of all members of Parliament annul it.
So what happened to...
But that's the whole point. That was the base of the argument, if you were listening the other day, that I was raising. And that this whole concept of a pre-laying and whatever, how did it come about? I don't understand. In deference to my friends, to the speaker, Aban Babin wasn't forcing that I go and see anybody because he knew the clear in his mind. He just referred them to it and knowing what it is. What are you guys saying? Previously, it wasn't Aban, was one of the deputy speakers. Oh, I agreed that I was going to sit down with my colleagues. But in that meeting, I tell you today, they added bits and pieces.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
The committee, the subsidiary committee of legislative, the subsidiary committee,
which is traditionally chaired by the minority,
and this time chaired by, this Parliament chaired by my good friend Dr. Dominic Ayine. Yeah, he chaired it. And all of them. I mean, all the members were there. The proposition has absolutely nothing to do with this constitutional thing. I didn't understand.
What did they propose? proposal?
I will tell you, he is a senior lawyer. He understands some of this. How could he possibly have thought about a minister coming back to Parliament on matters like this to engage in the processes of Parliament? What does it mean? So their business, their concern was some of the items that were put on there. Another issue was the justification for this whole bill. No, this whole, I'm accusing people for using the wrong terminology. Now I'm also concerned.
You nearly use the word ban.
Bill. No, the bill. It's not a bill. It's an ally.
It's an ally. Okay.
Yeah, it's bill. It's, as I said,
of course.
for the laws. So for the legislative, those laws that eventually become act of Parliament. Yeah, so they made... they were absolutely insignificant. The conclusion was that, subject to this suggestions they have made, they were quite happy. They were quite happy.
You agreed to include the suggestions in this document?
Yes, they have all been included. They were so infinitesimal. Well, absolutely nothing. They were quite happy.
So let's bullet them. So what was going to happen now?
Following from there.
Okay.
Following from there. Can we lay suggestions from some of the front benches, minority front bench? Oh, our ranking, the chairman will obviously be there. Chairman hasn't reported to us. I don't understand why hasn't reported to you. Then I got to know that he's reported to them.
You mean Dominic Ayine?
Yes.
Hasn't reported?
That was the allegation, that he hadn't reported to the leadership.
The outcome of the meeting which you just talked about.
Yeah, that's right. It turned out not to be true. He had reported to them. Then what do we do? Okay, let's...
But was that outcome a consensus position that was going to be communicated?
As far as I'm concerned, within the committee was absolutely consensus.
So you're saying that the NDC chair side and the MPP chair side all agreed at that committee level?
They completely agree.
To lay?
Yeah, sure, they lay.
With the change being reviews will return to Parliament.
I can read to you. I mean,
please, I'd love to.
Let's
this is a show of facts, by the way, as you have seen, and I would love for you to read what the actual text is, based on the agreement that you reached.
Can I have my phone?
Please, sir. Please do. And by the way, you're still live here on the Joy News channel. You are live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is a very important matter, and I really want to get the minister to get to the heart of it. I appreciate and also give us the facts as he has it, so that we can interrogate that. And so he's referencing the consensus agreement that was reached.
I quite understand
with both the majority and minority.
But I think it's important so that this duplicity on the part of some people should abate. It's completely unnecessary for the processes that we go through there. I think people should be transparent enough, should be men enough to accept the reality of what happens over there. I mean, it isn't in the domain, it isn't in the province of any particular individual to insist that I would not allow a particular process that is legitimately mandated by the Constitution to go on to undergo proper processes in the court. In the House. It's not your gift. It's not your prerogative. It is, look, in a boxing ring, we have the rules. Courts have the rules. Parliament have the rules. The whole country have their superior rules in the form of the Constitution. We should be following the Constitution, and not because it doesn't suit our political gastronomy, we decide that we are going to be stumbling block. We're not going to agree to this. I'll get there. I mean,
I will allow you time to look for that.
It's coming. It's not.
Yes, I'm going to take a quick break. Yes. When I return, we'll refer to that consensus position Katie Hammond says was reached with the minority at the committee level, which was supposed to be presented to the House for consideration, that then will pave way for the laying. And then we'll interrogate what that really was. Stay with us.
Is it off? Are you off?
Page for the new business account was in shambles yesterday. We lost the page.
Tell me about it.
We started off very confident, and then the office broadband went down. When we set up the hotspot from the phone to reconnect, the data allocation also got finished.
You are joking.
I wish. The meeting room was hot. Kobe quickly tried calling them to give us some more time, but he had no airtime. Total chaos. They also gave us feedback that our website didn't have enough information. How can you run a business this way and hope to grow?
Oh dear.
Your business communication can be way better than this. Vodafone One Business is a complete communications package that gives you broadband with data transfer to mobile phones, mobile package with free calls among employees, landline with free calls and website design plus domain name registration. At Vodafone Business, we understand that strong connections within your business lead to success. Call 050-777-9000 or sign up by sending an email to sme@vodafone.com. Vodafone,
Through the years,
further
Ghanaian
together.
leaders have
Ready? Let's go. We all go bring some savannah.
Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paints, we all go paint some.
We all go paint some savannah. We all go paint some.
Imagine strutting into the most anticipated wedding of the year. Only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data, or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN Just For You. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique Just For You package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks, and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery, and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302-764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website, www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Sintex has it all. Sintex Tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Sintex Tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Sintex Tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Sintex Tank. Sintex Tank, stress-free. Sintex Tank, reliable. Sintex Tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244-335-168. Kumasi 0505-555-666 or visit syntexgh.com. Sintex Tank, a year strong, a year tough.
For over 10 years, Old Mutual has been touching lives in Ghana. Whether you're a trader or a student, an entrepreneur or an employer, or nearing your retirement, we have the right financial solutions tailored just for you. Contact Old Mutual on 030-7000-600 or visit our website on oldmutual.com.gh to learn more. And let's realize your financial freedom together. 10 years of greatness, here for a lifetime. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
The restrictions that the Minister for Trade and Industry is seeking to place on some 22 strategic products, which is causing a bit of a consternation in the House, but also, as you've heard from many interest groups, today a petition has been submitted to Parliament by some of the parties aggrieved at this, asking for this to be withdrawn completely. The minority side is clear that they will not support this in any form. AGI is on the committee that will be granting the permits for those who may be seeking to import into this country. They obviously are for it, and they want room for the minister to lay for it to mature. This is a major subject, a subject of national interest, and so we're spending some time with the trade minister who is proposing this to go to the House, and he's with me.